Welcome to your Farm and Home Show. My name is Joanna Coles, and this morning we're visiting with Dr. Amanda Gumbert. She's with the University of Kentucky as Extension Water Quality Specialist there. But we're going to talk a little bit about summertime water conditions.
I was out with a group of folks a few days ago and we were doing some water sampling. And I mean, the water body was so warm. Like some of our water tests weren't even working right because the water was so warm. And, the other thing we start to notice when the water is this warm, as we start to see algae growing on ponds, we might see a lot of duckweed. And we start to notice that, the water is getting sluggish and it's just kind of a little bit funky.
But there's a lot of things that go on in this living kind of body that causes some ripple effects.
So the temperature is one thing that will kind of speed up activity. Our basic science, if we revisit that, we know that as we raise the temperature, then reactions start to happen a little faster. And in a water body, we have things like nutrients that get into the water. We have bacteria, and those are things that we don't necessarily want to get there, but it happens because we have runoff. During, anytime we have rain, we're going to have some amount of water that doesn't go into the ground and it's going to run off. And sometimes it takes bacteria with it. It sometimes takes nitrogen or phosphorus that maybe we've put on our lawn or in our garden or on the farm. Sometimes it takes soil with it. And in Kentucky, we usually have phosphorus attached to our soil particles. So those excess nutrients, and when I say that, really thinking about nitrogen and phosphorus, those are things that are going to get in the water, and it does speed up that algae growth because that's what algae needs to grow. It needs sunlight and it needs nutrients. And so we have, with that warmer temperature and more sunlight exposure, to the water, we just speed that up and we get a lot of algae growth. And sometimes it's not very healthy. When we're talking about algae that could be harmful, we call those harmful algal blooms or HABs, HABs. That's among the water types. We talk about it that way. And so what that is when we have algae that may have cyanobacteria associated with them that could be harmful. And it's harmful when some of that bacteria may release toxins into the waterway. And so it's harmful to our pets. It could be harmful to our livestock. We have lost both pets and livestock here in Kentucky. Not that I know of this year, but we have in the past due to consumption of water that has those toxins in it. It's also really would be irritating to humans in terms of contact with our skin. And so we just really caution people to pay attention to the water before they get in or before they allow pets or livestock to get in. And so some of the things that we look for is if you see a water body, and that could be a pond, it could be a lake, it could be a stream that's really moving slowly. We've even had harmful algal blooms in the Ohio River, which is a large body of water that's always moving, but still the conditions could be right for a harmful algal bloom. And you look for things like areas that look like thick paint floating on the surface, maybe green or yellow or bluish colors, even brown sometimes. And so anything that looks really funky and gross, that could be an indication of a harmful algal bloom. The safest thing for folks to do is stay out of the water, to report it, and we would report it to the Kentucky Division of Water so that they can send some of their water scientists out to do some water testing and sampling. It does take some specialized knowledge to identify these algae. I don't have that knowledge to identify algae necessarily. It's a real kind of a niche science. And so the best course of action is to stay away from it. I know you probably get calls in the office that folks have a private pond on their property, that they're worried that there may be a harmful algal bloom or a lot of algae. And we just say to leave it alone and kind of let it run its course, because if we do try to treat it, we run the risk of actually releasing more toxins in the water. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And check out the swim advisories that are posted also, and we'll share a link for that.
All right. Well, we appreciate you watching the Farm and Home Show, and have a great day.